you living in London and you have your country back home, Spain, that you deliver. How is the acceptance and the awareness of Paralympic sport different? How is it in Spain? What do you think?
I think people don't rate very highly the Paralympics. I think people don't, because they watch it on television and they say, well, no. I would think that the numbers of spectators in television are low. I would think. And there are...
What's the problem? What's for you the main
I don't think there is a problem. I think it's very common. And what happens is that there are, because they have not had coverage, big coverage, the Paralympics.
But in England, people are very interested. Channel 4. Channel 4 extended its coverage. Before they had their other shows, now they changed it and just showed Paralympics because it went so well, because the viewing figures were...
Well, and because there is this special feeling has been created with the Olympics, and people here has been extraordinary. I think the difference between the Olympics in London and the Olympics that I have attended in the past is just masses of crowd.
So you think because it's a home game?
The crowds in the Olympics were extraordinary, not in the Olympic part, but watching the women's peloton, the cycling peloton in my area, just going in just an eventful road. It was packed from one corner to another, a very straight line, packed of all the neighborhoods just there watching, and then it was like that through the duration. Massive crowds to watch sports. The British love watching sports, and it has become an atmosphere. Things have gone well and all that. And the British are very good as well in terms of the Paralympics, and they own a bit the feeling of, well, okay, this is a part of our history as well, and they have done very well, and all that. They are creating all this atmosphere. It's a special thing in Britain, probably there is a special feeling about that. And the Spaniards are more like the Americans with NBC, wanting to show. No, the Spaniards are showing stuff. The Spaniards are aware in the sport in terms of Pistorius and then of the local athletes, the people they actually know. Because when you say where is the problem, I think the problem is the games. The games are not spectacular. I mean, that is the thing. There is a problem. And I was, to me, I don't know what you think, but you will be much better. My learning of this. If it grows, it has to become a scientific and technical nightmare, because the rules of classification have to be so complex to make this a fair competition very often, that it becomes, for the Olympics, it's just a joke comparing with what you have to make here, the assessment of materials, of chairs, of blades, of the equilibrium between somebody with one amputation and then... So, to make all that for a fair competition...
It's not easy to present, is it? It's not easy.
It's not easy
to get it across.
No. So
that's the main problem.
But I think there is no problem. It maybe reaches a size that is the natural size of the event. I think one problem is that the use of facilities of the Olympic Games, just 15 days after the Olympic Games, you have another Olympic Games. And that there is a tiredness, and people say, another competition, and they're the same. That we have already lived that experience. A repetition is not. But that could be a problem. But I don't think there is the problem is don't aim to be another Olympics, because it's never going to be. It's never going to be.
So you think it's normal that the attention is not up there?
Yeah.
Because it's also, like, for example, female sports is the same problem.
Or junior sports. The people like watching football. Or you say, well, alterophilia. Nobody cares during the year. Alterophilia, people watch it in the Olympics. But chess is a very, very difficult game, but it's not a massive spectacle. It's not nobody is going to be watching masses of people going to watch a chess game, and it's a very difficult thing, a very challenging thing. But it has a follower. Chess is a very interesting phenomenon of the massive popularity of spreading that, watching the matches.
Do you think there's a Paralympic sport which has the ability to attract masses?
I think there are events that are very good. That are really a good show. I think wheelchair running,
racing.
That is long distance in particular. I think it could attract as many people as marathon runners, because they go fast. There is the tactical development, there is just the strategy, the whole thing there. So that is a pretty good show they put. And it's a very equal, a very fair event. So when you see even in the stadium that they are more limited in the scope and all that, the races that I have seen of 5,000 and all that. Yeah, you get the vibes of a good competition, and I would point to those in particular cycling with the.
So would you say everything that is close or the same as able-bodied sports, because it's just easy to consume, easy to understand?
Well, because that is the nature of games since the time immemorial. The game is that you start from a position of balance to achieve a position of imbalance. No, that is the structure of every game normally. And so, if you start from a position of imbalance, the game has no interest whatsoever. You have to be equal at the beginning. It has to be somebody equally able, just competing for something, and then the game will show who is more able than other. If you have a swim race in a
so what's the factors for a media-affine sport? Equality.
That's the game. That's the game. A spectacularity. You have to be. There has to be a development, simplicity, simplicity of rules.
Simplicity means it's also same rules as non-disabled sport. Like wheelchair basketball, same rules. Running, same rules.
Yes, yeah. Here, you go to the stadium, and the spectators, okay, they enjoy and they cheer and all that, but you don't know what is happening very often. No?
Another thing, wheelchair rugby attracts a lot of spectators. Totally different game.
Yeah.
They have their own rules.
Yes. I don't like it. I don't like.
You don't like it?
Maybe it's something that is wrong with me, but I don't like watching people who are disabled with a discapacity in a wheelchair, or blind people clashing against each other. I find it hurtful in a way, and I find, they would say, oh yeah, come on, get away from me, I am equal to you, I want to have a clash, I accept it entirely, but I don't like it. I don't like watching it. So to watch the people in the wheelchair, with the rugby, I haven't seen a lot of it, but I don't find it. But I don't find that basketball is wheelchair basketball is a great show. I don't find it is a great show. They will have a great time. I don't think it's a great show.
Why not?
Because it's not a great. It's not a game that offers the plasticity, the speed, the strength of the NBA. Because you have in your memory the NBA.
Okay, so you compare it to something.
Of course you do. You are watching. You like football. You will watch Bayern, and you will watch my third division neighbors play, and then you compare it. You compare males with females. You compare juniors with adults. It's inevitable. So this is okay. We have to do that, but it's not a great football or great basketball.
But then you can compare every sport except for the Paralympic unique sports, but the Paralympic unique sports, bocce and goalball, you said it's also not very interesting.
No, I think as a spectators, spectators, to me, the game wheelchair running. I think
that's your
wheelchair running is a real race. To me, it's something that you say, well, this is just something that you can get hooked into that and the whole thing seriously, in the circuit. And I have seen less, but cycling with the tricycle as well, with the pedals and all that. That you have to see a full race to see how it's developed. If there is enough people doing it, and there are characters and different personalities and all that. That is. When we watch the Olympics, and in the Olympics we watch swimming, we watch halterophilia, we watch shooting and all that. In the rest of the year,
never.
We don't watch at all swimming, even swimming that is very popular in the Olympics, no?
Yeah.
Eh?